In this case, we're going to go in and look at a monopoly and see, given its cost structure, whether it is making a profit or a loss, and where the monopoly, how much the monopoly will actually produce. So let's say that we have quantity on this axis and we have price up here. Now, we have a demand curve for this monopoly that's coming down through here looking something like that. So there's our demand curve. And then here is our marginal revenue curve. And we have our marginal cost curve, which will come up through here. So there's marginal cost. And then in this particular situation, let's have our average total cost curve that looks something like this. All right, I want you to remember that it is always true for a firm to go in and maximize its profits. It will always go in and produce where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Notice that was true when we were talking about a purely competitive market. Well, that's true with a monopoly as well. So in this particular case, we're going to go in and right here is where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So let's just say, for the sake of example, that happens to be 1,000 units of the good. Now, what is different about this situation is this is a monopoly and they are a price seeker. So that means that even though marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost here, what we want to do is go in and we are going to charge the price that the demanders are going to be willing and able to pay. So you draw your line up to the demand curve, and let's just say that happens to be the price of $2.75. So when you go in and you measure total revenue, your total revenue is always equal to price times quantity. So in this particular case, the monopoly is charging $2.75 per unit times 1,000 units. So their total revenue is going to be $2,750. So that's going to be that area that we have shaded in right here. Now the problem is when you're going in and you're looking at whether or not you're operating at a profit or a loss, then if we are producing at 1,000 units, and this is what demanders are willing and able to pay, the problem is our average total cost curve lies above the demand curve, which means that this firm's cost structure or cost is greater than the price it is actually charging. So in fact, if you are producing 1,000 units, then the average total cost per unit is going to end up right here. And let's just say that happens to be $3 per unit. So what ends up happening in this particular case is the loss is going to be, in this case, the cost of production is going to be greater than the price that is actually being charged. And in fact, the loss is going to be equal to the difference between these two, which is 25 cents per unit, times the 1,000 units that are being produced. So that's going to be a loss of $250. So the loss area is going to be this shaded area, which is right here. So when you have your average total cost curve that lies above your demand curve, then there is going to be a loss in this market.